We talk about the health benefits, and that's certainly an influence on getting people into sauna. But part of me thinks that they're missing the bigger picture. And I'll reflect on an op-ed that I had in the Globe and Mail a number of months ago, where that was my point. Just that is that yes, health benefits are important, but it's more important to understand how to enjoy sauna in the now. Uh, Appreciate what it gives you today, tomorrow, and the next day. It's going to help you sleep better. You're going to connect with your friends and family better. Things like that. That's far more important
Mm-hmm.
than worrying about the health benefits. And I truly hope that over time people understand that aspect. And at the end of my op-ed, I actually made this offer through all the points I made and the research and the stats. I simply made this simple offer. If you're not convinced yet, give me a call. I'll take you to sauna and I'll show you exactly what you've been missing or what the real deal is about. That's my offer. I've always made it. And I do that freely with anybody, anytime, any place. If you really want to enjoy or understand what a real sauna is, I'll absolutely help you along the way. It's not about stats and not about, things like that. I'll just take you to sauna. It's the most powerful tool that you and I have, and the Finns and any enthusiast in general, is literally take somebody by the hand and bring them to sauna. The
Beautiful.
rest, the rest will take care of itself.
Can we get a copy of the op-ed piece that is not firewall protected? Like a
Absolutely. Yeah,
link? Yeah.
yeah,
I'll
get
put
you.
that in the show notes, Alan, and thank you. It was a wonderful article, and I'm glad you brought that up. It was on my list to discuss. Everything cool on that on the
Yeah,
article?
good.
Yeah.
I'll get. I think the rest. You can just read the link or read
Hmm.
the article. I think people will understand my point of view in that.
Beautiful. How important is a cold water element for you with sauna, and how important do you think it is for those maybe listening, thinking of starting a sauna business in their own town or that?
I think the cold element is very important, because if you look at sort of I use the word lightly, procedural side of sauna, the heat is one aspect, but then you need to cool the body down. So you need to have the heat. You need to do something cold. It could be a cold plunge, cold shower, roll in the snow, whatever. And then just as important, there needs to be a rest after those two elements. So some people will refer it to as the thermal cycle, which is fine. But essentially, you have this hot, cold rest, and then you repeat that cycle. That is going to give you the optimal sensations and benefits from the sauna use. So
28% better than without?
I believe
I'm,
so.
I'm joking on that one.
Could be 26, could be 32. I'm not sure.
Okay, well, we're waiting for that. We're waiting for that, so we're told how much. But
Yeah.
yeah, I call the cool
Waiting
down.
for the report to get released.
That's
Right.
Yeah, to me, the Holy Trinity, I kind of encapsulate this because people ask me this as well. And I'm totally with you, Alan. I call the Holy Trinity of a good cool down is cold water,
Yes.
nature, and
Yes.
time. Cold
Yes.
water, nature, time. And time
Yes.
is so important because the equalization of body temperature really, you could sit in a cold plunge for a while, but man, how magical it is, whether it's 40 degrees Fahrenheit outside or 60, to get that equalization. I think time. And then now you're webbing into I guess you could call that either the emotional or mental health benefit, time. I mean, where do we allow ourselves that moment of free time?
We don't. And that's the challenge with today's lifestyle is we're all go, go, go. We're on our devices, we're distracted, we've got so many responsibilities, family, work, etc. And not enough people can take or will take that time, and not even, and especially not a measured time. Like we're talking about clear your calendar for the evening and you're going to go have sauna, and it's going to take what it takes. I get my wife asks me that from time to time. How long is the sauna going to take? Well, it's going to take what it takes. When I'm done, I'll come in the house.
Yeah, man.
And
Yes.
it's
Now I
hard
want
for
to
people to understand
yeah,
that, but
let's pull that apart a little bit and
sure.
back to this
Yeah.
Finnish style where we talk about freedom and few rules and stuff. And one of the things I like to talk about is this microclimate in the hot room and the multiple benches and the stratification and different temperatures. You growing up as an infant, like you were sauning before you could walk, and it was always down on the floor kind of a thing. So I love this other aspect when I talk about the hot room, like the holy trinity of the hot room itself is, heat, steam, ventilation, in managing those three components in a way that allows everybody that's different their own, like you find your own climate that works.
Exactly.
Can you riff on that now that I kind
Yeah.
of threw that on the table? How are you feeling about that?
I think most people over time gravitate towards the top bench because they just crave the heat so much, but it's not for everybody. And, you know, you and I have the advantage of having sauna for so many years. Uh, and over time, your body does get used to it. It's like any food or drug or anything you take, it just gets used to it, gets accustomed to it. So you crave more and more heat. You want more intensity. But if those who are new to it or have other, you know, concerns, they might not like it as hot. And I respect that. My wife is a perfect example. She generally does not come to the top bench. She'll sit on a lower bench. She'll put her feet up and lean against the wall. And that's great. You know, the important thing is that we're sharing the space together and the heat is just a little different.
And
And
how
what other,
beautiful. Go ahead. Go. No, you finish, Alan.
yeah,
Go ahead.
what other kind of environment can two people have a pretty different experience, but in the same space? You know,
That's
the
it.
heat is different, you know?
That's exactly what I was going to say in those exact words, pretty much. I mean, you know, man, I tell you, we're on the same. Yeah, man. And it's done simply is kind of where I was going to bring that forward. Is like you don't need fans, you don't need mechanics, you don't need, you know, you can do this without electricity. You can create these microclimates of different spots through the elevation of a hot room in just such an organic, natural way without overthinking it
Yeah.
and trying to create it. The sauna creates it for us.
And on that note, the sauna, when you really think about it, is so simple. It's essentially four elements: air, water, earth, the stones, and fire. That's it. That's it. And we were able to draw so much out of four simple elements. Can it get any easier?
Wow. I'd like to finish with a few rapid fire questions.
Sure.
But before I do, is there anything you want to ask me or is there anything we want to touch upon?
Yeah, so you and I are you're right. We're on the same page and we can probably answer each other's questions pretty easily. But I do like to ask this question because I think it's important for your listeners is what do you think is the most important thing that you've learned from the sauna lifestyle?
Hmm. From the lifestyle itself. So I think what I've learned is that maybe the first thing that comes to mind, and I really haven't given this any thought, to be candid with you, is what I like about like the human condition, is that we are all different and we can gravitate to different things that give us joy. Um, some like mountain biking, you know, some like meditation, some are into formal religion. Some go running, like, you know, my neighbor's son, he does this 200-mile thing. I mean, it's like insane.
Yeah,
It's like I'm going to
yeah,
bang my head against a brick wall for 100, you know, hours consecutively. I mean, you know, hey, whatever people's jam happens to be, I just happen to have locked into this one, you know, and it just fits. It's like a groove of a record that just feels right to me. Like I'll just answer the question by this. Like yesterday, now it had been 2 days since I had sauna. It's midsummer, and
yeah,
I took a solo sauna last night. 4 sticks of wood, fired it up. I'm one with my stove and I'm one with my sauna, and I
yeah,
got in there. It was only like maybe 130 Fahrenheit, and I threw water. I created a more steam, less heat. First
yeah,
round, I rode that sucker right up. And then by the time I was done with round one, it was just like, I was just kind of like, whoa, you know, I was like resonating, you know. And then I jump in the lake. I'm chilling out there and in the, you know, nature's cold plunge, come back in, throw one more log in, just a small little select log. It's an art, you know, like I love tuning that. And I pulled the damper down a little bit and I rode
yeah,
175, 180 for
yeah,
like you said, you know, like how long was that round? I don't even know. I think I was probably down there a couple hours for maybe
yeah,
5 more rounds.
yeah.
What it's taught me is like that's just my salvation, you know, to be able to do that with such freedom and of from technology and noise, you know, just to be one with, well said, you know, the four elements.
Yeah.
I love it. You know, that's what it's taught me.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Thanks for letting me know. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you for the question. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Uh, it's a sauna day, and you
Yes.
wake up, and I want to know your most cherished moment. And it's a difficult question, but reach for one for me. You know, you wake up, you do your daily thing and all that, you fire up
Yeah,
the wood burning stove, you
yeah,
get ready, you step in for round one, the first lolu,
yeah.
all the way through the process, first cold plunge, blah, blah. I'm setting the stage for this full spectrum of experience. If you had to pick a moment that is like
Right,
a cherished moment, what would it?
right. It's typically the same. And so days, especially at the cottage, when I know it's sauna day, which is, let's be truthful, is every day. Because sauna, the day always revolved around sauna at the cottage. So it's probably the easiest way is you get up in the morning, you know you're going to have sauna. So it's always on your mind. There's all these little things you do. You might catch water and that. But for me, the most important part is when I start the fire. And maybe it's a metaphor, and I'm sure you can understand this. When you get the wood together, the rustling of the branches and birch bark, and you get this all, and then we use old-fashioned matchsticks. We don't use a lighter, and we do that on purpose. And I have this old jar that's probably 40 years old that I keep the matches in, and to have that snap crack of the first match and put it to the fire and see how quickly it kind of catches on. So you get a sound and a smell that together are like, okay, it's time for sauna. It literally shortens the whole process to say, yeah, we're getting ready for sauna. So that is probably the most important one to me, and the most stimulating and the most Pavlovian, I guess, would be the way to explain it. It instantly gives me memories, anticipation, excitement, everything just from a crack of a match. So that's probably the pinnacle or the most important part. And then of course you can explore the whole, fire is like life, and you're nurturing fire. So it starts off very hot and intense, but it's not very strong. And then you nurture it and you bring more wood into it. And now you're creating something, knowing that that's going to translate to a good sauna right afterwards. So, and all that goes through my mind in the span of a minute. And
Right. And very Pavlovian.
instantly I'm in sauna.
Yes, and I
Yeah, I'm
love
in
I
sauna.
love that. It's Pavlovian
Yeah,
with the sense of like dog food in the dog dish. Here comes Alan running for a sauna session.
right. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Cool. If you could, I got two more and then we'll wrap up. And I want to thank you
Okay.
for being a guest on Sauna Talk.
Okay.
This is long overdue, and I hope we get to do this again. I just want to say one more thing. Like
Yeah.
we're approaching 100 episodes for Sauna Talk, and there are multiple guests, and I'm very proud of the idea that we don't a very Finnish style. There are no rules to Sauna Talk in a way. Like I want to have you on again, and I've had
Sure.
Mikkel Alland on, I think 3, 4 times, and I've had other guests on multiple times. And I'd like to set an intention that the next Sauna Talk that you and I will do, I
Yeah.
want to be on the bench. Is that fair?
Absolutely. Well, we're going to get together again soon anyway, so let's throw a sauna talk in there at the same time. That'd
And
be
and
awesome.
and I think we'll have some momentum for a good subject, and I don't know what that is just yet, but I feel it coming, man, and I'm excited for that.
Absolutely. I think you and I talk real easily together, so we can go down any rabbit hole and it's all good.
Wonderful. If it's okay, I want to ask you two more. So
Sure.
a mobile sauna. Mobile saunas are becoming, have been becoming a big thing. And if you could bring one anywhere in the world, like helicoptered in, drive it in,
Right.
boat it in, what's the first place that comes to mind for you?
West Coast, West Coast of Canada and the US. For a number of reasons, I went to university in Victoria for 4 years, and I love the West Coast. I love the vibe. I love the nature, everything about it. So that would be the first thing. I think it would be a natural fit.
Would it
I
be would it be on the coast itself, Alan, just to interject, or a lake, or on the
Yeah,
on
it could be
the
on a lake. It could be a lake, could be on the island, could be not. Somewhere on the West Coast, probably to the northern area, like Washington or BC. Because I've been there. It's beautiful. I go there, once or twice a year just to retrace my steps and get a little taste of the West Coast in my system, because it's different than being in Ontario.
and have a beer like you're a college kid again.
That's right. That's right. It just makes me feel alive. And at the same time, I think there is a good West Coast vibe for sauna, but it's surprisingly lacking. There's not a lot of sauna
Mm.
on the West Coast. It surprises me, but
Mhm.
so
but it's
to have
great climate. It's good
great climate.
topography and climate.
Everything is there. Everything
So,
there is just saunas.
so your mobile sauna is there. It's in this
Yeah.
majestical place in Victoria. Who would, if you had to pick only one person to have a sauna session with, who's the first person that comes to mind that you'd like to share bench time with?
Well, unfortunately, he's no longer around, but it'd be Gord Downey from the Tragically Hip. Any Canadians listen will understand this completely. He's not as well known in the U.S., but that's okay. If people have, they know instantly why. He was a cool cat, very introspective, very inward thinking, very deep, and a lot on his mind. And I obviously never got a chance to talk to him, but to have him on the bench, I think would be epic. You would just it'd be incredible. You talk a little music, share a little sauna, kind of that aspect. I think he'd be the most interesting person I could think of.
Love it. Alan, how can people find you? Tell us about where
Yeah.
you're at out there.
So the couple of ways to find me, you can get a hold of me by email, and that's Alan, ALAN, at Kivia, KIVIA.ca. That's the easiest way. If you want to get a hold of me a little quicker, you can reach out through me through social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Our handle is at Kivia Sauna, KIVIA SAUNA. One of those three methods usually works the easiest. I tend to gravitate towards Instagram because I'm on my phone a lot, but any one of those, I love to talk to people, love to hear about their experiences, what they're thinking, and just generally share our passion for sauna.
Thank you very much for coming on to Sauna Talk, Alan. What a pleasure, man.
Thanks,
Hope you
Glenn.
have a good day, and we'll see you on the bench soon enough, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Good day to you, and we'll see you on the bench. Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Len.